Hello and welcome to the latest in the Future Flying series of webinars. Today we're joined by the CEO of Malaysia's newest airline, MYAirline. Established in 2021, MYAirline took its first flights in December last year, with the first services operating from Kuala Lumpur International to Kuching, Kota Kinabalu and Langkawi. It now has 8 operational aircraft and has added more routes, reaching 9 destinations in Malaysia, and just this month, launching its first international route to Bangkok. With more growth on the horizon, it really is an exciting time for this brand new carrier. And today we have the pleasure of learning more about its future plans as we sit down with Rayner Teo, CEO of MYAirline. Rayner, welcome to Future Flying.
Hey, thank you, Joanna. Yes, I'm happy to be here.
We're very happy to talk to you. So could we start by just hearing a little bit about you? What is your background and how did you come to launch a new airline in Malaysia?
Okay, if we go back like maybe more than 30 years, I started my career with the national carrier in Malaysia, and basically had stints in the past with companies like Abacus in Malaysia, is a system provider, IATA, and then obviously a major low-cost carrier in Malaysia. Spent quite a long time there. And before COVID hit, I was based out of Bangkok with a local company there, Thai Jet. So I was basically based there till before the lockdown happened during the COVID period.
Thank goodness all that is over, right?
Yes, for sure. And that basically presented opportunities itself in terms of starting up MYAirline. It was during that period.
It's incredible how many startups we've seen actually through COVID and post-COVID as well. You know, it seems like there are windows of opportunities, but you're operating in a very competitive landscape. You know, there's several carriers occupying your space: AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines, Batik Air, Firefly. What was the gap in the market you perceived that MYAirline could fill?
Yeah, so basically, there are multiple airlines operating in Malaysia, but every airline technically operates on a different business model. So we are coming in on the basis of what we felt would be the best business model, which is a low-cost carrier, and a lot of opportunities, especially after COVID, right? And I think it's heavily driven on the basis of pent-up demand, which we see that it is coming true as we are in our day-to-day operations now.
That's really good to hear. It's something that I've seen firsthand. You know, I was on a flight to Oslo just a few days ago and the plane was absolutely full, you know, and that's not really a typically popular route from the UK to Oslo, but it was absolutely full. So from a passenger experience point of view, what is it that should make passengers pick to fly with you guys?
Yeah, so for a very long time, even before COVID hit, in terms of passenger experience, I think it's been pretty lacking, especially in the Malaysia landscape of things. So one of the primary focus is going along that lines, right? We focus a lot on reliability, and with reliability comes, you know, a lot of emphasis on on-time performance, right? So as of this month to date, we are already hitting on-time performance of more than 95%. So that's what we are going after. We also make sure that customer service, we are at the forefront of that. We make sure that we take care of all our passengers. I think from simple things, right? Making sure that from ground staff, cabin crew, even our customer service people, they start off with a smile, right?
That's great. And I think, you know, that's such an important factor when you're choosing an airline, is that you're treated nicely by the staff. But you talked a little bit about reliability there. Something that we're struggling with in this part of the world is capacity at airports. You know, a lot of flights are coming in late or leaving late or getting cancelled, and not because of the airline's fault. It's because the airports and the ground staff aren't there to provide the support these airlines need. How are things for you in particularly out of Kuala Lumpur International? Are the capacities there enough to assure you of this on-time performance that you're seeking?
Yeah, so I think we are pretty lucky in that sense, because from a Malaysia context, all states combined, we have not had any issues in terms of capacity from the service providers. But because we are in phase 2 currently, I like to call it phase 2 of our plans, which is launching international flights, which you already said. We have our first international coming up in Bangkok before we end this month. And when we were basically engaging with the parties, we have engagements with Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and also Singapore. We do see that there are challenges because the processes that we have to go through differs a lot from how it was before COVID. So nowadays, it's all about making sure that the ground handlers can support your flights first, right? Before you can go to the next step. Yeah. So definitely there are issues, but I believe that steps has been put in all these countries to overcome this in a very short period of time.
That's really good to hear, and a very sensible way to go about it. So you're flying 8 A320ceos at the moment, the current, well, it was called the current engine option, but obviously it's not the newest engine option. Why did you pick that plane as your kind of starter fleet?
Yeah, I think it's a given that any startup in Malaysia would go for that option because of the fact that there are many CEOs operating in this country and throughout this region as well. And that, basically availability of talent, availability of parts, and all this is sort of like pointed and make the most sense going that direction. But going forward, we are at a period of time where we are also looking towards putting in a purchase of brand new planes. And when that time comes, when the decision is made, we could go either way because there are two significant players. Right? Yes.
Okay, so not settled on an Airbus only fleet for the future. That's still up for negotiation, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, interesting stuff. And when you move to those newer aircraft, do you think you'll look into buying them yourselves, or is your business model about leasing airplanes?
Yeah, we have pretty firm plans that we would be going out there to purchase brand new planes. Yeah. And we are hoping that we would be able to conclude the deal before we end this year.
Oh, fantastic. That's soon. In your first year of operations. Very good.
We have been having heavy engagements with both the two large aircraft manufacturers.
It would be good to see some Maxes flying in Malaysia. I don't think there's many of them at the moment, but...
Not many, a few, but good planes.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye for that announcement. The exciting times. So what's your ideal fleet size? I don't know, maybe by the end of this year. And then ultimately, how big do you want to get?
So we have an internal target on ensuring that we at least end up with 20 planes before we end this year. Pretty significant in terms of capacity with 20 planes. And our 5-year goal is to at least have 80 planes on a full narrow body fleet.
That's fantastic. Very ambitious. And do you ever see a wide body coming into your fleet?
At the moment, no plans for a wide body, but as how things always evolve, right? Sometimes it's pretty hard to predict the future. But at this point of time, we're just sticking to the narrow body fleet.
Good plan, good plan. So we hear about a lot of the challenges regarding recruitment in aviation. There's not enough pilots, there's not enough cabin crew, we can't get people into the industry fast enough. How have you found it through the setup of MYAirline, managing to get the talent that you need to operate?
I think we have been lucky, right, from day one and up to now. No major challenges on both pilots and also cabin crew. And also at the office level employees as well. So far, everything has been going as planned, on target. But we do note the fact that as more planes get into the air, right, and more airline companies come back to their normal strength, there would be a tussle in place to get qualified talent. So we have put in plans to basically try to circumvent all these issues that may come in the future.
Do you see that you'll set up your own training academy, or are you reliant on trained pilots coming to you from other airlines?
Okay, I think the first one who has asked me this question so far. Yeah, we do have plans to set up our own training center in the near future. I think it's part of the progression of any new airline that comes about, right?
Fantastic.
So that would be an ideal timing in terms of when you want to look into this. First, you have to have the scale, right? So that you can support all of the training hours that you will be putting in place, including simulators and all that. Yeah.
So no projected date on that? Is that kind of to come later?
Yeah, to come later. Definitely not in the next year or two, but going forward, definitely we will be looking to this front.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit about how these early months have gone for you. You know, you've been operating flights since December. Have you seen plenty of demand for your services? I've heard you've had very good load factors.
Yeah, that's true. We started on the 1st of December. And, you know, like to a very large extent, I think we brought onto ourselves a lot of pressure when we first started. We just gave our commercial team a 5-day window to sell. And I think we were lucky because we started operations during the peak month of travel. First month of operations, just like what you mentioned, a very high load factors. We achieve a 96% load factor.
Wow.
And up to the end of May, we are averaging at 92% load factor. So now the focus with the commercial team is basically to drive yield.
That's fantastic. And that's very much in line with what we hear from Ryanair here in Europe, you know, who is our major low-cost carrier. You know, they're always targeting high 90s load factors. So that's great that you're already attracting passengers and getting those planes full. I know you're kind of going into a quieter season, which is the reverse of us here in Europe. You know, this is our busy season now, but for Malaysia, it gets a bit quieter over the summer months, right?
Sure.
Are you going to change anything you're doing to accommodate that slightly lower demand?
I think to a very large extent, because we are still in the startup phase. We're just coming into ending 6 months of operations. We will not be in any situation to cut or move capacity at this point of time. I think most of the carriers in Europe do that, right? Because of the lacking of demand. But we will be focused in terms of expanding our network and also our frequency. Yeah.
That's great. So continued expansion, and I'm assuming that will mean new route launches as well. You know, as you said, we're looking forward to Bangkok at the end of the month, and then I think you've got a second Bangkok destination in July. So what's next? Are you looking at more international destinations?
Yeah, so we are pretty much in phase 2 of our expansion. So we'll be launching first with Bangkok. And I think we are the first airline in Malaysia that basically would be operating out of both airports in Bangkok, which is Don Muang and also Suvarnabhumi. And I think as a start, right, having within the space of 1 month, 4 flights a day into Bangkok, we would be playing a pretty significant part in terms of that route. We are also looking at 3 other countries: Indonesia, Vietnam, and Singapore. So including Thailand, this would be the focus for the next 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months. So we're looking at lots of route announcements over the next few months then.
Yeah, we aim to keep the traveling public excited all of the time.
You certainly make us very excited. We love to see a brand new airline doing lots of growth. Do you see that you would ever expand out of Southeast Asia? You know, would you ever consider going to other locations?
Yeah, so primary focus Southeast Asia first, but definitely we'll be expanding with the development of the range that we have on the narrow body aircraft, right? We will definitely be going, we will definitely be looking at going beyond the 4-hour range for sure.
And I guess if you do get a new technology aircraft that can go that bit further, that opens up even more options for destinations, right?
True. If not, it'll be pretty hard to fill up 80 planes in 5 years.
I don't know. There's some demand in your region, and the planes fly pretty full. So I think you'll be good for a while. So, what's your long-term goal for the airline? What do you want to see happen over the next few years, and to accommodate these 80 aircraft that you want to have?
Yeah, we have a pretty a strong network plan in terms of the routes that we plan to operate into. Besides that, the frequency that we want to build as well. So at this point of time, like what I mentioned earlier as well, right? Not just confining ourselves to the 4-hour range, but going beyond that as well, once we get the right planes into our fleet. And also pretty much expanding the number of hubs that we have, but all confined towards the Malaysia context of things. Because in the different regions in Malaysia, they offer different attractiveness in terms of tourism products. Yeah, so we will be focused on that. We are also now engaging with the local state governments as well to discuss about on this front.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, will your hubs be all focused in Malaysia, or do you see yourself setting up bases internationally as well?
At this point of time, the focus will be predominantly Malaysia. No plans expanding out of Malaysia at this present time. I think in the context of just looking at Malaysia from the hub perspective would keep us busy for the next 5 years.
Excellent.
If you look at one hub a year, you have like 6 hubs already in 5 years.
One hub a year, that's impressive.
If you go in terms of that front.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I don't like to throw this question at you because it's still so early in your journey, but sustainability is a massive issue in aviation right now. Do you have plans to operate on SAF, or, what are you guys planning to do to tick those sustainability boxes?
Yeah, so I think one of the plus points that we had, because we start from a clean slate, right? And we had already put into our plans in terms of looking at going green, and one of them is basically SAF, right? We just had a discussion. I was just in Kuching 2 days ago, and I was having a chat with the Minister of Transport, Sarawak, and he was the one who brought up SAF in terms of what they are doing over there, together with our national petroleum company. So there are a lot of initiatives happening at that front. So the time may not be right now based on price points, but definitely it's something that in the future, soon, going forward, I think it will be a very good proposition to go on that. And one immediate thing that we have done from the beginning itself was in terms of ensuring that we burn less fuel, right? Reducing carbon emissions and all that. So the seats that we have on our planes, they're all brand new seats. They are super lightweight seats. And I think each aircraft we save up to about 900 kilograms. So when you translate that into a 1-year kind of operations, we are doing our part, basically.
That's great to hear. Are those the Recaro, the extra slimline seats, right?
An Italian company called Jevon.
Okay.
So I believe we are the first customer to be using this model of seats. Super lightweight, slim profile, but very ergonomic and comfortable seats.
Excellent. And do you offer the onboard trolley service to buy snacks and drinks while people are flying?
Yeah, so that's a big part of the business model. So we do have a pre-book basis for meals and snacks, and they are also available for purchase on board as well.
So ancillary revenue is a big part of your business model, right?
Just like any other low-cost carrier, it forms a big part. Directly air-related and also non-air related. So both fronts. Okay,
so you're selling other products within your packages?
What we have in place today, we are already selling travel insurance online. So we have partnered with a strong company to basically power this. We will be also launching sales of hotel content also, I think in the next month. And we'll be introducing more products as we go forward.
That's great. It's like you say, it's such an important part of the low cost model because people can fly for cheap if they don't want any extras, but then they can add all these other bits on if they need it. Um, so in terms of like the digitization of the airline, do you have an app or are people able to interact with you online?
Yes, so that's one of the things that from the onset itself, we had a strategy in place, right? Nowadays, I think heavily, primarily driven by cost, people go for chatbot and all these kind of areas, right? So what we intentionally did was to hire a group of people that sits in the office. We don't do calls, but we do chats.
Okay.
So they are easily reachable for any sort of inquiries or customer support.
That's brilliant. And actual real people rather than chatbots. That's refreshing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's great to hear about your future plans. But you said, you're in phase 2 right now. What does phase 3 look like? Where does that take you to?
Phase 3 basically would be returning back to the Malaysia domestic context, connecting the dots that we have not done yet, and looking at the intra-Sabah Sarawak flights. And then also towards the later part of phase 3, reconnecting more dots in this region, going to the beyond 2-hour range of flights.
Excellent. And to facilitate that, do you think you'll form any partnerships in the future? I don't know whether an alliance is on the cards or interlining with other airlines, or do you prefer to stand alone?
Yeah, so one of the fundamentals of an LCC is basically standalone, right? But as you go forward, I believe you cannot be just working by yourself, right? And based on the technologies that we have now from the PSS front, doing interline or code share, as long as I believe as long as you keep within your same business model, that will be the right way to go as we progress.
Okay, look forward to hearing more about that in the future. So you're standing here now, like you say, just 6 months into your journey. If you looked ahead in 10 years' time, where would you hope your airline would be then?
Okay. If I were to answer that question, I think I'll rock a lot of boats. So I think, I believe to answer it in a very politically correct manner, I'm actually looking at Linda. I think we will be a significant player in this market. We would like to be the preferred choice, not just in Malaysia, but within this region, based on our distribution strategy. So we definitely want to be, one of the brands that people look for as the first choice when they decide that they want to travel.
I guess that'll all come with your excellent customer service that you're proud of. So yeah, keep it up. That sounds like a great forward plan.
Yeah, thanks. We will definitely strive hard towards that goal.
Excellent. Rayner, it's been fantastic talking to you today. I wish you all the best success through the rest of the year, and I look forward to more route announcements that we can cover on Simple Flying. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Joanna. And we hope to have you on our flight soon.
Oh, I really hope to be back in Malaysia soon. It's been too long since I've been over, so I do hope to join you soon.
Yeah, look forward to having you here.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.